start recording. We will, you set me up perfectly, Kyle. Okay, so we're talking about LinkedIn. You guys know by now that LinkedIn is super important to my business. I get a lot of work from there. It makes sense for professional headshot photographers, especially to be on LinkedIn. It makes sense for other people to be on LinkedIn, like Austin. I think you should be on LinkedIn. I think it's a popular social media network that a lot of photographers aren't tapping into. So I actually went into LinkedIn in October of 2017, I think, pretty heavy, like committed to it because people in DC are outranking me, and they have 30,000 backlinks, and they've been around for 10 years. So it was going to be hard to just, knock them off and be first on Google. But I know that people get to know other people and want to work with them as opposed to people they don't know. So it was a place I could go, get known, and be the first person that people would think of when they needed headshots in my network. And that counts for a lot. You do not need to be the best headshot photographer. You don't need to be cheap. If people know you, they've seen your work for a year, 2 years, they just love it every time. They're like, wow, that's so good. And then they get, hey, you're going to be featured in a magazine and we need a headshot. They're thinking of John Meadows or you, whoever they've been seeing and know. And price almost doesn't matter for a lot of those people. They're going to go with you. They like you. They have been thinking they'd be working with you if they ever need a headshot, and they call you and they, oh, wow, that's kind of expensive. Okay, here we go. Book me. So very important to you, to me, and it can be a big part of your business. It's a big part of Kevin's business. And Kevin has different kind of content that he posts. I'd say there's some overlap in kind of topic, but it's a different take and it's a different vibe. It's not me, it's Kevin, which I think is appropriate. And Kevin gets a lot of work from there. Almost all of your work comes from LinkedIn.
Almost all.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we should both be concerned that, what if LinkedIn stops working, or, we get banned for, whatever, too many headshots or whatever, then what happens? I'm concerned about that. I'm sure you would. The ideal is not for 100% of bookings or 95% of bookings to come from one place that's free and that we could get banned from. But we're not here to talk about what Kevin needs to do. We're here to learn from Kevin. So we're going to learn about how he's bringing in these clients and, it's like what Peter Hurley talks about. Everybody has their own pie, and you can take stuff from their pie and put it in your pie, and you don't have to do everything. Like he has a Thai pie and you won't. So we'll get into it. I'm going to interview Kevin. Be thinking about questions you have for Kevin. If it's directly related, jump in. If it's not, wait till the end. Jot them down. You can even put them in the chat box, and maybe I can weave them in when I think they fit in or at the end. So Kevin, a ton of your work comes from LinkedIn, and I want you to just kind of tell us a little bit about, I guess, what you post about and why you chose that, how you come up with topics. Let's start with that.
That's a lot to talk about. Thanks, John, for having
topics me. First, topics and why you're talking about them.
Okay. Can I get the share screen?
Yes. Yes. Can you fill space while I do that?
Yeah. So I started photography through SLR Lounge, their business course, which I completely recommend because it's the business of photography. And so I started doing that around 2018, I think. And one of the things that they brought up that is important is doing a customer persona. So one of the things that I started is this is an updated version. This is one of my 3 personas that I have that I created so that I know who I'm talking to. So someone who's recently promoted, someone who's anxious, someone who has a side hustle, an entrepreneur, has kids, someone who cares about the community. Like these are the things that like are important to me when I'm thinking about topics and who I'm talking to. So it's like having a conversation with somebody. So then from here, what I do is I also do a lot of reading, and these are some of the books that I read. I just copy and paste this for you guys, and then I create some of the topics that I really like from reading it from the library or from Kindle and audiobooks, and I just kind of put them all on here. So then I always have something to talk about. But generally, since I know who my my audience is, I talk about family. I talk about the hustle of what that looks like, the struggles of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Since a lot of people those are my people. Work-life balance are things that I talk about as well, the struggle of that or the success of that. I talk about coaches that I've worked with and the importance of coaches as well. When you say you talk about, does that mean, yeah, so what I post. So things that I post, like the topics and the stories of stuff that I post, as well as what I used to do up until a few months ago was a lot of videos. I post at least 1 or 2 videos a week, just talking to the audience about these different topics that I get from these books.
I was thinking about the morning
Yeah.
talk, and it seems like you both have the people that you want to reach as ideal clients, and you're learning from your clients about things that you could talk about that are interesting to you. And the more you have your ideal client, the more they're talking about things that interest you, and the more you talk about things that interest them because they're your ideal client, the more engagement you get from people who are like your ideal client who book, and it kind of feeds itself. Is that right?
Yeah. So no, that's not it. That's something else. Let's see. So what you can do is, maybe this is one. No, that's not it. I'll just get out of here. So, okay. So on LinkedIn, as I'm scrolling through, I can see kind of like what's popular. I also look at what people care about.
I don't think you're sharing what you think you're sharing.
Oh, no? Okay. Let me try that again. Here's LinkedIn.
There we go. Yep.
Okay. So we can see what they post, right? So here's something that they post. But we can also see what people like.
Where is this? Where is this? This is just your feed.
Yeah, this is just my feed, just on the main feed, kind of like what Facebook has.
Yeah.
Ian Shepherd, he's an entrepreneur. He does podcasts. This is what he likes. And then if I go down, Chris Shea, he's an entrepreneur. Well, he helps entrepreneurs. This is what he likes. This is a photographer. She's a very important person. Someone like, so I can look at these types of things that people like, and then it kind of also gives me an idea of what they care about. And I can then write to what they care about, which then means that there's probably gonna be more people who will like it as well. Anne Crawford works with the veterans. She's actually helping me connect with more veterans and veteran organizations. So she wrote something, and she loves that here's, stuff about family. I think I'm seeing a lot more LinkedIn posts about family, which used to be faux pas. Like people didn't really do it. And now I'm seeing a lot more of it.
It is probably partly influenced by what you write, and no doubt. But yes, good. Yeah, Chantel had a baby. She didn't tell anyone. Just posted on LinkedIn that she had a baby. It's weird.
And then you said this morning, like LinkedIn news, like these are the things that people, which I was like, oh, this is a great idea. But these are the topics that people care about.
Yeah,
or is popular.
So Kevin has an idea of who he wants to be engaging with. I mean, I think that's important. You don't need to try to reach everybody. Like if someone comes across your post about family, but is not an entrepreneur, they can still connect with that and connect with you on LinkedIn and still talk to you and book you. It doesn't like you're not shutting off anybody. You're focusing on a certain group of people that have commonalities, and that's who you're going after. And other people can connect with that. As far as post ideas, you had another great idea that blew most people's minds this morning about books. So,
So these are the books that I read. And then what's also really cool is, so this is an idea I got from a business coach friend of mine, where, so one of the things like, okay, so I have this persona, how do I get into their minds, right? So the book position, and so I just look up books that entrepreneurs like. I don't have to read all of it. I do read a lot of it, but not all of it because it's just too much information. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't agree with him, but I read it so I can talk to other people about it. But what's really cool is when you go to Amazon, you get to read the reviews, and this is a way to get inside a person's mind, which is really cool. And so this person writes, a 5-star review. I usually read the 5-star reviews. I've been struggling with shame, vulnerability my entire life. This book opened my eyes, seeing perspective. I don't want to say how, after this book, it changed me. I feel calmer now. I learned to forgive myself. So this is a person share about what they really think. 150 people find this helpful. So then if 100 people find this helpful, I could write about a similar topic and put that into my post, knowing that they've already engaged with this. Brene Brown is a person that I read. Her book was Daring Greatly. And I did a couple of posts about shame and vulnerability. And then one of the people who commented was like, hey, you should read Brene Brown's about shame and vulnerability in the same book that's out, Daring Greatly. I'm like, oh yeah, in my mind, like that's exactly the topic that I'm reaching out to. So you connected with me with that and you understood where I'm going at because of something like this. So I'm using other people's mind, getting into their minds, because people aren't always honest to your face. They're much more honest on the internet. So I'm grabbing that and I'm using it, and then other people like it. So then there's a recognition for it.
Yeah, it's they struck a chord with the other people reviewing the comments, and so if you write about the same thing, put your spin on it, it will probably resonate with people in your network too. I thought that was really smart, and especially good for people who have trouble coming up with things to say. I mean, I also am just now thinking like that you have content because you put the work into reading it. If you just were you and just sat down at the computer and like, what am I going to write about? It would be harder. But because you're engaging with content that is related to your ideal clients by reading, and then you go with this comment research thing, and you're just thinking about that stuff because you're reading about it, it makes it much easier to write. Like, you don't have to share personal stuff. I would say you could be more of like do book reviews or just do thoughtful pieces on a book and challenge a book, or whatever. You can do that as one of your topics or your main thing. But Kevin has that topic easily at hand because he's doing some work related to that topic, so namely reading. So that's cool.
I even hear like a podcast, like episode 9 of Story Brand. Here's a topic that's really cool. Here's a topic that's really cool. So I wrote about this some time ago. These are all my different topics. Don't prioritize your schedule your priorities. And I'll talk about this. And I'll just use my family as an example. Like, I made sure that Sundays I never work, and Wednesdays, if I don't have admin backup, I don't work. And I'll say that simply just as a regurgitation of this.
Yeah. Also, I mean, once you start really thinking about what you're going to put on LinkedIn, the content you're going to create, you will start to have too many ideas for one day. You will have 5 ideas that are good ideas, but you don't want to post them all in one day. So keeping it organized like this is a great way to do it. I wasn't quite that organized. I just had a note on my phone on various topics, but super
Yeah,
helpful, easy way to do
it's
it.
similar.
Tell us about the breakdown of these posts and how much you post on each, and if you have topics that especially get a lot of traction or types of posts that get a lot of traction.
Yeah, I post about 4 to 5 times a week, so not too much, I don't think. Usually just on the weekdays, sometimes on the weekends if something just pops up and I just have something to say. But I try to do about 4 times a week, but I also comment a lot, and I like certain things a lot. So even if I just liking a lot of stuff, my name gets put at the very top of everybody's feed. I spend about, on average, on my phone about 5 to 7 hours a week. And on my computer, probably a few more hours, like 1 to 2 more hours. John says that's a lot. I don't know. For me, that doesn't feel like a lot because I get all my business from LinkedIn. So that's not, for me, not really a big deal.
I was just saying this morning that could
Yeah.
seem like a lot to people to spend 7 hours on LinkedIn.
Per week. not
Yeah,
a
per
day.
week. And so some people on the morning call was like, oh, that's not bad. But it's getting him most of his business. So 7 hours, I would say, objectively should be considered a little bit for someone who's trying to make it full time, who is making it full time, and who, if that source is getting him all of his business, then 7 hours a week is not that much. But I just could imagine that some people would think, that's wasting a lot of time online. Like, shouldn't you be doing something useful? But obviously it's working for you. So I think you're sharing something again. You don't mean to share. It's just the top of the browser. But
Oh yeah. Yeah. So these are my posts. So you can actually see everybody's post and see like who's the most popular people and like what they post and what get lots of traction. That's also another way to do research and just hijacking other people's idea.
you're sharing the
Which,
top of a browser, like your tabs.
oh, is it? That's it?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's so weird.
It was doing it before
Right?
and you fixed it. There you go. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So different topics. So this is just me giving my thought on, now on LinkedIn, if you write a comment, you can turn that into a post, which is kind of cool. I haven't posted all weekend. This weekend was no work. Even today, I didn't post anything. This is a little bit about myself. So I was the first person laid off from school last year. People love stories like this of what happened during the pandemic. So I'm milking it for all it's worth. But then once you start to read this, then it can go into here. This post is shared, I think, about 7 times. There's 1,000 views. If I get 50 reactions and over 2,000 views, I think that's viral for me, because I have about 2,000 people. This one is a topic that I got from somebody else, I think from a podcast. I wish there was a way to know your good old days before you actually left them. So this is the first thing I post, and then I give us a couple space, and then I write about other things. So here I'm being vulnerable. John asked, do I just write about all vulnerable things? One of the things that Brene Brown says is she talks or writes about vulnerable things of shame after she's already gone through it and have come to a conclusion. So I kind of take on the same thing. Like, I don't write about it until I've have a sense of value from it myself, that I've learned from it, even if I'm not don't have a conclusion. And I also ask my wife if it's okay to post.
So you're not just complaining.
Yeah, so it's not just venting, it's not just like blah, blah, blah. It is still in line with what people care about. So things like take a break, right? And then how I did it as well. And then video of my son walking, that always gets a lot of attention. But I think even if I think I've done a couple times where I just posted pictures or videos and without a story, it didn't get as much traction. It was so popular, people liked it, but didn't get as much traction.
Oh,
This
Kevin,
also got
Kevin.
Yeah.
Laura has photographed Brene, so I figured that would
Really?
be jealous. Yep. Apparently.
That's so cool.
She was at
That's
she was at a corporate event that I was the main photographer for, the only photographer for. And so it was like right after she wrote her first main book, and she just is a sweet lady.
There you go.
Yeah, oh man, I just want to sit down and talk to these people.
Yeah.
So one of my
Laura,
goals is to photograph a TED Talk speaker from the main TED Talks.
cool. Laura, do you need a clarification on his notes, or are you good?
I just kind of wanted to, I had to run away with kids. I just wanted to see how he laid it out because I saw that it was tabbed in and stuff. I'm just curious because I'm kind of like you, John. I just have a note in my phone that is
Lame like me.
Maybe you're like me. Maybe I started mine first.
Maybe.
So these are just different topics.
Can you go back to your notes quick, Kevin?
Oh, yep.
Just quickly, because we have seen them, but
Yep.
Laura just want to make sure she.
So these are just individual topics that was cool. This is from, I took a picture of a book. And then this is from a conversation from one of my friends.
So you're doing a separate note for each one?
Mm-hmm. And then so when I'm done, I can either delete it or it gets moved down to the bottom.
Interesting.
This one's from an audiobook. And then here's my topic that I will write about. So I'll have that topic and then I'll write about it. Same thing here as well.
You know, someday that'll be a really easy thing for you to push off to a VA. Since you already have most of it written, they can just format it and use it.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
There you go.
So Kevin, if you can you go back to your posts and go through a couple more and just explain how they're broken down?
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
You can see the full page now.
Yep.
Okay. I also photograph a lot of people for free, and I target very specific people within the people that I care about. So the entrepreneurs, the HR people, the venture capitalist people. And so I'll tag each person, I'll share a little bit about them, and then just how much I love them as well. And then, so this person as well. And then I share a little bit about myself. So I add in these little tiny things. So this person works with immigrants, and I talk about my mom. And when I say speaks to my heart, because my parents were also refugees, add a little bit of that little touch in there. And then some people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. I talk, my posts are about how cool. It's really rarely about me, just solely about me or just a picture. He throws axes with his boyfriend every day, almost every day. And so it's like so cool. So this is an attempt to write a pun, didn't really work. My hobbies. This one also same thing, talks a little bit about my mom. So he's a doctor, but then also my mother was a medical interpreter. And so I talk about other people. I talk about the behind the scenes. So like this one, I love that he came in with this black sweater and not just a suit jacket, because so I'm giving the people like ideas on what to do during the session. So a little bit sneak peek in there. And I reshare other people's work sometimes. It doesn't get a lot of hits. LinkedIn for some reason hates it and doesn't get traction, but the person that sees it, like they'll feel good about it.
The person who shared it initially, the person who posted it will feel good about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Keanu's was one of my clients before. So this is her headshot that's being used. And so because my entrepreneurs are always getting published, I can share their work over and over again. And even if they updated their headshot, because it's been a few years, I'll still share their whatever they share, I'll share as well, their successes.
It's a way to keep in touch with past clients primarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to show that their second connections or their first connections, my second connections, that I care about them.
Yeah.
And that'll just kind of keep going up.
Yeah.
And then I'll just show this last one. This is me hijacking another viral thing that was going on LinkedIn. So there's a lot of like, should we pay interns or not pay interns? And they're showing up over and over again. And those were getting like tens of thousands of reactions. So I'm assuming hundreds of thousands of views. So I did the same thing where I do have an intern who's doing mostly my boring stuff. And I'm not paying her, but I'm giving her all this stuff for school. And this is one of the most reactions I've ever received. And I got 2-3 people who want to book with me just because of this. And I got a lot of students that were like, to connect with me, which, they're not gonna pay for my services right now, but someday when they get into marketing, when they become head of marketing or head of HR, they're gonna remember me, hopefully, because they're gonna see my stuff for many years.
Very
So, yeah.
cool. I guess that I wanted you to cover, what's the lead time for this when you connect with someone who sees your content, who lives near you? How does that go? Is it a quick booking? Is it a long booking? Does it take a year? How long does it take?
I would say most of them take some time. Some recently, people are coming in from as far back as 2020, when I first really got onto LinkedIn, and earlier of the year in January, February, a lot of people are coming in from there. So I have 10 leads, 12 leads, 13 leads, 14, 15 leads from the past 2 weeks that I am following up on, and I'd say almost all of them are from earlier in the year. And I would say almost all of them didn't even interact with my stuff. They just like, hey, I've been following you for a while. Let's connect and let's talk about headshots. I'm like, cool, let's do it.
Yep. Happened to me this week, 2 years ago. I connected with this person. It's like, I said something about headshots, or she said she needed some. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, here's how it works. And you can sign up here. I think that's what I was saying back then. And she ignored me. And then she messaged me this week and we set up a call for that day, I think. And she booked.
Yeah, because it's the views. I mean, we're getting like thousands of views, but we're only getting like maybe 50 to 100 reactions. But those thousands of views are people seeing it over and over and over again, and they want to see it. That's why they're there.
Yeah, it's passive marketing to the people that you're connected with. And she said, like, I've been following you for years. I love your stuff. She's been seeing a lot. And I think she might have commented or liked like 2 posts in the last 2 years. Like, I didn't know she was seeing my stuff. I heard this really cool. I think I mentioned this on a previous call, but somebody said that there was a story about this. I think it was a woman who was posting about her makeup brand or something like that, her own side hustle or business. And she was getting like 8 views on Instagram. And then Oprah messaged her and said she'd been watching her and wanted to have her on a show. Oprah was one of the 8 who saw a particular post or something. And so she went on the show, and, it's a big deal. So you don't know who those views are. If you're on LinkedIn and you're connected to people in your area, it's going to be people in your area primarily. And you're on their mind for whenever the headshots come up. You do some really, I'm sure it's not unique overall in the whole world, but it's something that I don't know anyone else who does it consistently. How do you connect with people on LinkedIn? What's your process?
Actually, I should probably show my phone. So the similar, just mining, which is similar to what John teaches us. When you have a really cool post and then people are like, hey, let's, and then you connect with them and like, thank you for the connection. What I would do is I'll send them, like, thank you for looking at such and such post on this day, around this day, so I know when it was, I know what exact post was, so that later I know how we connected. So similar stuff. When they do connect with me, now that we're friends, what I'll be able to do is, you can only do this on the phone or the iPad. So I'll use Ian just because he's a friend of mine. If you go to the what's it called, the paperclip, you can send a video. And so I'll click on the video, and then I'm like, hey, thank you for connecting. I really appreciate it. It's always wonderful to connect with people that are part of the same community and care for the same things. I would love to connect with you further beyond just this and do a virtual coffee chat. If you're ever interested, let me know. It'll be super awesome. All right, take care, bye. And then that's it. And I send it to them. I'll say probably just a couple of people respond back, but everybody that responds back are like, this is amazing. This is the first time I've ever seen a video. thank you so much for making it so personal. I'll say their names. John asks, like, do I say their names? Yes, multiple times. And sometimes I'll look at how to say their names. When you go to their name, their profile, they might have a sound icon. You click on that. It's very important to say their names correctly. And I'll even say, if I say your name incorrectly, please tell me. I would love to say your name correctly and respect who you are. And I'll leave it at that because I'm gonna butcher people's names anyways. And
So you send the video. It talks about the virtual coffee chat. So you send a Calendly.
yep. And then so if they respond, because I don't want to spam them, I want to be like, I used to just give it to them and give them all these links, but I'll send them to this link, which is just my website /chat, which has a little bit more work. So I never really sell them anything, but they see my work. These are some very important people in the entrepreneur community. So if they know these 3 people, I'm all set. She's a career coach. So a little bit about myself, but really it's here at 30 minutes. I usually get about 3 a week, 3 to 5, usually just 3. And they get to choose why they want to talk with me. When they'll get a confirmation email, that'll have a little bit more details, but then I didn't show this in the morning, but this would be the
Evening is always better.
There's always more details that we missed. So here's the thank you page. So thank you. If we connected not on LinkedIn, this is an opportunity for them to connect on LinkedIn. I tell them to check their inbox. Sometimes the confirmation is not there. Here are 2 of my podcasts that I was a part of. I was on a couple of more, so I should add more to this, but this way they could listen to me more. I have fans who are like, how's your son? Or I heard your story. And then, so they're actually talking wonderfully about me when we do meet, which is super awesome. And this way I can spend more time just asking them questions and saying, hey, how are you doing? Do you have any kids too? Or blah, blah, blah. And I write all this down in my CRM. So if we ever do book, I have conversation topics for later. Or if we're connected through referral, like, hey, John, and you know about his daughter, Willow, so cute, and like, yeah, and then so there's always some kind of conversation that we have. So I'm using this as a way to build that up as well.
Yeah. Awesome. So then you have the how do your virtual coffee chats go? You usually hold them in your studio. There you go.
Yeah. So this is a picture from this morning.
You invested in these headshot prints partly for the coffee chats, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Almost exclusively, because one of the things I spent last summer on, it just really, at the end of this year, was just thinking about how to be different from other photographers. A lot of photographers, what I see is they show their equipment, but for me, it's no one really cares about our equipment. They care about stories. And so I have these pictures up because I know these people. Some of these people are also very important to the entrepreneur community or the real estate community, or they just have a really good smile, or they have different religions and different races and occupations. So I can tell a story. So, I really like this picture of the guy, maybe that the woman right here in the top right in the white shirt. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's a vice president of business at Blue Cross Blue Shield. She's also on the Museum of Fine Arts Board of Trustees. So when we did it, we were really happy and bright, but I want to create something that was artistic. So we put that up. Or they'll be like, oh, I see some people not smiling. Some people are smiling. Do we have to smile? And I'm like, no. So I'll say like the person to my left in the middle, she's a dentist. And then we had the person right next to her, the politician, always smiled and had a TV smile, but we had to get him to not smile so he could reach a different audience. So I can tell these different stories of like what clothes to wear. So some people are not wearing clothes. Some people have facial hair. Some people have no hair on the head. Some people are doctors. And each of these are a way to connect with all the different types of people that I want to talk to as well.
Yeah.
Rather than show my background, that's just photography equipment, which could be intimidating, I think.
One bad way of being unique and doing stuff other photographers don't do is to tell all the photographers in this program what you do, but that's okay.
I almost didn't want to do this, but I feel like I tell you this, which then means I have to then up my game. and try something. But then you can tell me other really cool things too, like tell my BA or my intern to write the stuff that I've already written based off it. So it's like, that's a cool idea.
I feel like I've helped photographers in my area. I've taught photographers in my area how to shoot better, more like me. It's, you grow when you teach, so I wouldn't worry about it. If I was concerned about you like being hurt by it, I probably wouldn't have invited you, but it always, there's so many people, like, even if somebody in Boston did like everything you said, they're not even talking to the same people. It won't hurt you at all. So that's cool.
And we have different audiences and different people want to work with me, not because I'm a great photographer. They want to work with me. I mean, I think I have good work. Not a social level, but I didn't have good work. But they want to work with me because they love my family. They love my vulnerability. They feel like they know me.
Yeah.
The book Position is all about that, right? Like, what place do you occupy in a person's mind? You might not be the best, but you're there all the time, and you're a family.
Yeah.
That's why I want to work with you.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see. Tell us tips. You haven't been doing video lately, but you have done video a lot. So give us some tips on how to create video. Maybe quickly how you did it and how you changed and why, and any resources for us about how to create videos that engage and videos that aren't too hard to produce.
Yeah, I bought $2,000 worth of equipment and a lot of editing equipment and audio equipment and new cameras. And then I just ended up just using my iPhone and a Rode mic that attaches to iPhone. That's like $150 because I didn't want to invest all the equipment and editing and stuff anymore. So
all the time.
And then all the time, it's just so much work to just kind of sync audio and all that stuff. And then also the files are really large. So one of the things I did was in Headshot Hot Sauce last year, it got us to do videos, and I was really, really bad. I can show those videos if you want.
Yes.
It was terrible. And one of my friends is he is a public speaking coach, and he was piloting a program. So he was like, "Hey, Kevin, you want to do this? It's a 1-week program. You have homework every night." It's like, great. So one of the things that he taught me was, the main thing was, when you're talking to the camera, pretend like you're talking to a friend. And so the exercises were make a video, actually send a video to a friend, send a video to your wife, send a video to your, somebody and that, and then it becomes a little bit easier. In this way, we're not just talking with the public speaking voice, we're talking in a very casual voice. What I also did this year was to do all those chats with people before our session, but also just open up chats to anybody who wants to talk to me. So sometimes I'll publish my 3circlestudio.com/chat. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking because I'll talk to people I don't want to talk to, but it forced me to be more personable over time. And that's helped. And also podcasts helped as well. So I can see myself being recorded when I was recorded in real time, being interviewed. So all those opportunities to speak it's been really good. And then it's just a matter of trying to keep it to 3-ish. This is also the exercise that my coach gave me. Record yourself at maximum of 3 times. On the 3rd time, even if you don't finish it, just send it anyways. Otherwise, I'll be doing it forever, which I did, hours and hours for one video. Or I'll stop myself in the middle before I even finish the idea, and then I'll start over again. So just kind of go through all of that, and then sending videos to each person that connects with me, which could be about 50 people a week, give or take. That's also been very helpful too. Tiring, but helpful, because that's only about 30 minutes a day, give or take, 20, 30 minutes a day per set of people that I reach out to.
Awesome. I like that. Putting in the reps with the videos to connections and 3 takes or so maybe 4 if you really, really mess it up. And I just wanted to clear up the exercise with the friends. So to get
Mhm.
comfortable in the beginning, you actually send a video to a specific person and think of talking to that person, because you actually are sending it to that person for a
Mhm.
bit. And then that kind of gets you over the fear of talking into the camera, because you know you're just sending it to the one person. And then you can kind of
Exactly.
imagine you're talking to a friend, even though you're not sending it to anyone in particular, you're actually posting it publicly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Because your friend doesn't care if you and or you stop. Your friend cares about your how much you care about them. So that enthusiasm will come through.
Matt is asking if you script out the videos, and I'll ask, do you script out the videos you post publicly, and do you script out the videos that you send to individuals? Because I'm not sure what she's talking about.
For the videos to individuals to connect with them, I have a basic script. Hey, my name is Kevin. I just want to say thank you for the connection. I really appreciate it. It's really great to be connected with people in the same community and really build up the entrepreneur community or whatever community it is. I would love to chat with you. If you ever want to set up a coffee chat, I would love to do that. And then I'll add something beginning and end, just to like, how's the weather if they're in Boston, or it's wonderful you live in California because it's so nice out. It's raining right now. I'll turn the camera around so the rain. Just something to make it personal, so it doesn't feel like a stock one. For the real video, not real videos, but the
Public.
general public videos, I used to script out everything. I used to also say everything and then like transcribe it, and then I also like outlined it, and I'll redo it, and then I'll like listen to myself, and I used to cut all my odds and more recently, I would just kind of write a topic, and then I'll just talk, and then I'll record into a voice memo, listen to myself of the things that I say naturally, and then I'll just double down on those things or add a few more details. But I won't necessarily write out word for word. Because sometimes the things that come out of your head naturally are the more interesting things, and I'll make note of that. So those videos would take me like sometimes about half an hour to an hour.
I think you've also gotten better at at just being quiet and taking a moment to figure out what you're going to say. And when you're talking to the camera and it's a thoughtful topic about family or something, the way you do it, to me, it's some of the most powerful spots in the videos, because you've just said something important, or you're about to say something important, and you can tell like it means a lot to you. And it's not just for the camera, although it obviously is for the camera because you're creating a video, but it's very personal and heartfelt and thoughtful, and you're thinking about the things that you care about and how to convey that best. And so the silence in your videos, I think, are really great.
Yeah, so two things, that, but also turning your stories, and this is something I also learned from my coach, into present tense. And so when you tell your stories, they're living the moment with you, as opposed to you telling it from the past. And it just becomes like a past, recollection. It's the present tense makes it more visceral, more real, more immediate for the people who are listening. It's a subtle.
It's
grammatical
interesting.
shift.
How do you do that? So instead of saying like, I was fired from my job and was really nervous about how I would make money, what do you say?
So for example, if I was to talk about, so the most recent thing I'll talk about my car crash and how I transitioned. So I'll say, back in 2017, right on Christmas Eve, I was gonna go to work, but then as I get into my car, it was really, really cold that morning. And I turned on my car, started driving to, so I turn on my car and start driving to CrossFit. And it's only 2 miles away. So as I start making one of the turns in the corner, I hit a patch of ice and the car starts spinning. And that's when I saw my life flash before my eyes. So all of that, instead of saying, I started my car and I drove to CrossFit. And when I hit a patch of ice, my car spun, it's like, and then just making you live that moment with me.
Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah, that's great. Hector's asking if you connect just with people in your geographical area, or how do you determine who you connect with, or who you accept, or who you connect to proactively?
I accept everybody in the United States. Well, I accept people in the United States. So if they're from other countries, I typically don't connect with them. If they are not within Boston, I connect to everybody who's in Greater Boston or New England. If they're within like a 6-hour drive, so even down to like DC, even there's a lot of people in Florida. I think there's a lot of coaches in Florida, but I don't connect with a lot of them. If they're outside of my region, I check on 2 things. One, are they a senior level manager that I want to connect with? In which case they would know a lot of people that I want to care about. And the second thing is if they have over 2,000 people in their following or that follows them.
Yeah.
So even if they are in, say, if they're in Chicago, but they have 500 people, I probably won't connect with that person.
Okay.
If they're a student, an entrepreneur, and they're a student, and they care about, I still might connect with them because they're going to get big and they might come to Boston because Boston is a hub. But that's also because they're my peoples in that case.
I'm curious about, that seems a little more strict than what I do. Like, why wouldn't you connect with someone who, I guess you said if they're a manager, or if they have a large following, or is it one or the other?
It's one or the other.
Yeah. So, okay. I would suggest that maybe you should connect with people who are don't have a big following, but who just have jobs that are the kind of jobs that you would target, or not even target, but who are good opportunities for you. Because I have people who are not senior level managers, they're not managers, but they just are like in decent paying jobs, and they come to DC, or I'm sure people go to New England. I say I'm from New Hampshire, and people are, or New Jersey, and people are like, oh, where? And I like my girlfriend, my wife is from Montville, and oh, I know Montville. Like, people travel. So I was like, you have a 30,000 connection cap. I don't think you're probably close to that. I've been going pretty hard on LinkedIn for years, and I think I have 5,000 or 6,000. So you're not going to hit the cap. So I would just think if they seem like they would be a likely client, if they were close, I would still connect with them. I also assume that if people add a note and say, Kevin, I love this video, blah, 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 and they're from Arizona and they're not a manager and they don't have a big following, that you would also accept that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they do that, that probably means they're active on LinkedIn as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And so that's kind of one of the things I'm thinking about.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
I think it's because I want to like do a video for everybody. So for me, it's like, is it worth it to do the video? But I think I don't have to do a video for everybody. Come think of it. So
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, some people aren't worth investing a lot in, but it's worth accepting. I've accepted people and they're like, hey, I come out to DC all the time. They didn't say anything. It was just a connection request. So I accept, and then they message, like they don't know about the note. So if you might be declining people who are planning to book you, but just are waiting for you to accept. So
just a good idea.
Possible. All right. Last, I think there was one more. Oh, we'll just talk about what's the real necessary component to a good post, whether it's on one topic or another. And I'm wanting you to talk about interesting stuff, whether it's interesting.
Or just stories. Just any type of nugget of information about you that's about you. I think it comes down to no one fucking cares about us as photographers. They want to work with us as people. We're small business owners, all of us. Even if we're making $5 million, we're still a small business owner. Because I think that's the actual number. I think it literally is $5 million and below. So if you put a little bit of nugget about yourself or about somebody else and just lift them up rather than just posting a picture, rather than just posting a video, I think that's great. Because people want to connect for like two reasons, right? They want to connect because you give them value, so you teach them something. They also connect because they feel good. You put a puppy video up and there's like 1 million views. You put like some kind of like a motivational speaker, there's like 1 million views. So you give them something that will make them happy, and have positive feelings. And because I'm uplifting other people, like this person does this amazing work, I'm still contributing to that positivity on LinkedIn, which is starting to turn political for some reason.
It's just
And
hitting me
not
that
so happy.
the word engagement for social media is actually pretty accurate. Like it's something that people will engage with. It is, it could be something that teaches them something, teaches them how to do a task, teaches them a new resource for them, just entertains them, just makes them feel like they connected to something besides probably just a picture of someone with their first name.
There's actually a really good book on storytelling. It's called Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. And so she's a speaker as well. She's really awesome. But it's called Stories That Stick. And she talks a lot about like the different kinds of things of what elements make a good story, why people connect to them, Kevin, you kind of touched on it, and it's getting them to be with you on the story, turning the keys, that kind of thing. So I think you're definitely right on the right track with that.
Okay, the way Kevin was saying it, it was more like a movie.
Yeah, but step by step, so you connect with it as opposed to like, oh yeah, I went to Walmart the other day and got a thing and came home.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I posted the link to the book that Laura recommended. So cool. So
I have to read that next.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm planning to read it. So I think that's what I wanted Kevin to cover for us, and I'll open it up to other questions that haven't already been asked.
I have a good question. If you this is for either of you really. If you had 10 minutes a day to spend on LinkedIn, what are the things that you would do in 10 minutes?
Kevin?
Does this include prepping as well?
Nope. You have 10 minutes, start to finish. What are the things you would do for 10 minutes?
Get on, create a 1-minute video. So that would be about 1 to 2 to 3 minutes. Post a video and just summarize the one-liner, and then probably go back to my previous post and then look at the people who've commented, respond to them, look at the people who have reacted, and then just go in and react to a couple of their stuff.
Cool.
And then so people who are already with me, I'm doubling down on them.
I would say for me, it is, I guess this is now that I have a network. I think if I had, so you're saying I have 70 minutes a week, I would do like 2 35-minute sessions. I think 10 minutes is not long to have on LinkedIn. And so I would probably, let's see, I'd probably do a 10-minute session the first day, and I'd spend an hour the second day. And I would probably veer with this. This is crazy. Like, you need to spend more than 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn. But I would post. I would do.
It's a real thing.
I would do the picture of a client that I've shot who lives in the area. Hopefully, like the longer the better, because then they'll have more connections. Post it. Write something interesting about them or the session or whatever, or the expression, whatever. Tag them in it. Let them know I tagged them. That's 10 minutes.
There's a key right there. Let them know you tagged it.
Let them know you tagged them. Ask them to please, if they can just like it or comment on it within an hour, that'd be great. Be done with that. Then I would, this is LinkedIn mining. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted a video in the Facebook page, and it's in the other LinkedIn call we did. Then the next day I'd spend an hour, open up tabs, however many tabs of everyone who commented, everyone who liked it or reacted to it, and start sending out those notes with connection requests. Hey, I saw you like this person's headshot. Let's connect, and then you build your network. And if you have a popular post, if you have a post that has 100 reactions or more, you're probably going to get a couple leads from that and somebody will book. So
Laura, you gave me an idea. I'm going to get my intern to do all the mining. So I don't have to do the mining. So the hour would be saved.
Hey,
So I'm
modifying
beside
Laura's
myself.
rules here.
My VA got so busy with her own stuff. I'm like, I'm looking for a new VA. My life is crazy right now.
I have
But-
my admin assistant doing mining, and it's nice to just see people who connect, because then it is a new message, even if they don't send me anything, and then I follow up with them. But yeah, it's time saving. So for $20, you can have somebody else do it.
Yeah, and at some point when we're making decent money like we are, we have to have help. Like I have someone retouch stuff, and there's things that I'm falling way behind on that I need to outsource because I'm busy shooting every freaking day. I don't ever shoot on Mondays, and I shot today. So there's only so much time in the day. And if we could push some of this stuff off, but we still have to be connected personally with our LinkedIns. Otherwise you will lose that
How,
like
how
that
many
special
how many sessions a day or a week are you doing, Laura?
It's hard to quantify that because I'm doing a lot of
No,
groups.
it's
So
not.
like okay, so I mean I'm probably doing 5 to 6 new hires, 2 to 3 full sessions, usually 1 group on site. And then some weeks I'm doing events. So like next week I'm in Seattle and I'm doing a full week of events, and I have 1 day that's fully headshots. So like I'm shooting every day like a
full
crazy
schedule.
person.
So that's good. That's good. And you're even working on outsourcing the event photography?
I have people that shoot for me all the time, but I still shoot some too for my clients that I love and that pay me lots of money to fly me to Seattle and whatever. But like, so this week I have 2 girls shooting for me in Denver. So I'm farming out without doing a full-time person.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a full-time second shooter right now. I'm happy doing a 1099 and with the people I trust.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Any other questions for Kevin or me about LinkedIn?
Well, I got to ask some questions.
Yeah. What is LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's all LinkedIn. So going back, I'm the new guy to LinkedIn. So my new website just got published. The LinkedIn profile's out there. Google My Business. All that stuff is out there. It's polished up. It looks pretty. That's great, right? But the SEO is on point, thanks to Richard. But the other piece to it is I'm very new at the LinkedIn game. So even what Kevin was talking about, I mean, I've got some notes and it's really good stuff and it's brilliant information. But John, I'm going to need to go way back and watch some of the previous videos. I've got, I don't know, 20, 30 connections. I don't know. And I'm hesitant now today to go in there and start to work it because I don't want to post something ridiculous that is not going to help me or that could potentially hurt me. But then I hear other people say, dude, just post. It doesn't matter right now.
What
No one knows you.
stuff are you posting that's going to get you in trouble?
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you posting?
I don't even want to
No
know.
porn.
Right. So,
Before we know that,
I mean, where do I,
Headshots.
Yeah, just put some headshots in there that I've done. And as far as mining, I kind of look, I don't quite understand the process of how to mine for certain things. I mean, I go to my area, I find certain business individuals, I'll shoot them a little message. I try to kind of tell a story and connect, but it's a little thing. I've gotten a few things from it. I've gotten some connections from it.
You need to
But-
spend a week just going through everyone you know in your area and finding them on LinkedIn, connecting with them on LinkedIn.
Okay.
People are not generally, I would say, going to accept connection requests from someone with 20 connections.
Correct.
You look new, you
Right.
look like a fake account, trying to get
Yeah.
their email or something. You gotta
Yeah.
just connect with people like spend a full day. Like, who do I know? Okay, I did meet the guy at the restaurant or whatever, or
Right.
whatever. Everybody. You need to get 500 or more connections to look legit, I think.
Okay.
hundreds that
Start with the people here.
200. What's that?
Start with the people here.
Yeah, connect with us.
Okay. All right.
Connect with all the people you know from the Headshot crew. They'll like your stuff.
Okay.
And so check out mining, the mining video. It's in the playlist on YouTube. It's a way to get, once you have engagement on a post, it's a way to use that to your advantage, but it's not a way to do cold outreach. It's a way to do warm outreach.
Check out Dan's video when he was interviewed, because he does in-person networking.
Yes.
And then on your phone, when you have LinkedIn, you can just, at the very top where it says search, there's a button that gets the QR code. And if they have LinkedIn, it'll just go straight there and then connect with you.
Yeah.
And then John's other video about LinkedIn mining and how to set your LinkedIn profile and how to list all stuff. And then mine is just an advanced version or a different version of what John's doing.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's-
Dan
No,
talked
we don't-
about how he uses in-person networking. He has used in-person networking to grow his LinkedIn, and I think that's great.
Yeah. Like everybody I shoot, I always connect with them. I just did a shoot today, and she's like, "Oh yeah." So there was 3 or 4 people. So all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to build the base first.
Okay.
Or maybe not even first, but it's important to build the base to get the engagement, because you need to look legit. And when you post, the first people who see it are your network. If you only have 20 people, 2 people are going to see it until people start commenting on it. So it's important to build that up. And then as you become active on LinkedIn and people engage with you, you're going to mine their posts, connect with them. And those are people who are generally active on LinkedIn because they saw your post and commented. We wouldn't be able to do that if they weren't on LinkedIn. So it builds on itself. It's been building on itself for me for 4 years now.
Okay.
So it just gets better, but people are seeing success with LinkedIn who are listening to these videos and starting to implement the stuff within months. So a couple months.
Cool.
In June of last year, I had less than 1,000 people. I think I had like 700, 800 people on LinkedIn connected, just because back then I was just connected to teachers and stuff. And then I consciously connected with my peer groups, my target audience over time, over the last, was it like 14, 15 months to get to 2,500 people. So it's just time, because LinkedIn will limit you to what, like 100 people a week, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's also a lot of people to connect to in a week. But yeah.
But that means by middle of November, you can have over 500 connections and it'll say 500 plus.
Okay. All right.
That's the important thing. Yeah.
So that's the trick for me right now. Just like you said, John, take a day or 2 or whatever. And
I would
just
still
connect.
post and everything, because if you're concerned about, I mean, as long as it's not incriminating, it's fine to post stuff that makes you look stupid, because no one's going to see it. Now it's
Right.
you don't want to wait until you have a big audience to embarrass yourself. And I'll keep an eye out for you if I see anything that I'm like, what are you doing? Like, don't post.
It's
Well,
not
I
like
mean-
IG.
There, that's my question. So go ahead, Kevin. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
It's not like Instagram where all your posts are collected into one place.
Right.
The past post you see only goes back 3 months.
Okay.
It only goes back 90 days. So like after 90 days, if you haven't posted anything, then it's all gone.
And you have to, it takes a lot of clicks to get to someone's activity and find their posts and go through their posts. It's not like you go to
Yeah,
their profile and you have all their posts from the last even 3 months.
So it's more
all
like
your
a-
activity. So it would say, Matt commented on this, Matt liked this, Matt posted this, Matt liked this, commented,
Yeah.
posted,
Like I did a headshot today. It was a cool experience. We connected and we knew each other and we didn't even know it. Things like that, like Kevin was talking about. Make it a little story, put a little personal, put a little spin in on it, post your picture and maybe behind the scenes, and then that's it.
Yeah, I mean, just start doing stuff.
Okay.
It's a hot
Got it.
sauce thing. Just do something, and it'll be better than nothing, unless you're, end up in jail.
And then you get a feel for what people like, and then that's also going to be helpful, like anecdotally, so that you can then tailor your your content towards your audience, which then get even more engagement. And then more people who also like that content would then fall in line as well.
Just like pick your topics. You could talk about being a small business owner, headshots,
Mhm.
drugs, robbery, stuff like that.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Anything
John
else?
posted about a donut or something, I think.
Posted about grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese. Yeah.
I should post about donuts. Anybody else? You guys know what you're going to talk about now? You know how you're going to talk about it? Cool. All right. I guess that wraps up that conversation. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Kevin, anybody can stay or go now. I hope you stay, but it's fine if you go. We're going to do quick wins, and we're going to start with Tom.
Let's see, I shot this past month I shot 5 people, averaged, I think it was three images. So for the month was a little over 3,000,
Mhm.
all things combined, and the session fee and all that stuff. So I felt good about that.
Okay. And what was I going to ask? You were active on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I need to get a lot more active though.
Okay. You think you can get more people if you're active on LinkedIn?
I think so.
Okay.
I talk about robbery and drugs and stuff.
Yeah. Stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff that people can relate to. People will be like,
Yeah.
I had my car stolen last week. That's cool. All right, Matt. Matt, it would really help if you unmuted. There you go.
Yeah, it would. I was taking notes on my drug paraphernalia here. Okay, wins. Actually, a win was today. I got notified that one of the large magazines here in San Antonio, it's a local magazine, SA Monthly, San Antonio Monthly. The editor called me and offered me a spot in the magazine to showcase my new business. So that was pretty exciting.
Free of charge?
So that's what I'm curious about. But so far, it seems like, yeah.
I
So
would
he sent me all the
specifically
info.
ask that so you don't waste your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got somebody going to look over it. My neighbor's my little lawyer guy. He looks
If you
over all that
really
stuff.
want to do it and he wants to charge you, I would consider a trade potentially. If you really think the magazine would be good eyes for you, like give him the experience, give him one image, sell him some extra images probably, and get the spot and have somebody a magazine who likes your work.
And then I got another guy. I ended up in a group breakfast and met a guy that's a pretty big, well-known guy, Forbes type guy. And I kind of did it on purpose. We were sitting at the table and a friend of mine was asking me about my headshots. And he said, let me see your stuff. So I left my phone open next to me and the guy was sitting there. He said, hey, so what would you charge for 20, 30, 40, I don't know, 60 people? I'm like, wow. And I wanted that to happen. I just didn't think it would. And it did. And I told him, well, let me get back to you, but we connected and it looks like it's going to happen. So
Okay. How much do you charge?
I haven't quoted him and I hadn't looked at that yet. So that's a good question, John.
How do you know it's going to happen if he doesn't know how much?
That's what's next. Well, I guess I don't.
Why do you not know how much you would charge?
Because I've never done that. I've never done that many people before. So I was thinking.
What's your rate for however many you know? 10.
Well, so what I normally do is I'll do like $425 for a location fee, and then I'll charge $45 an image for each image.
Okay. So that's so low that you can just keep that for 50 or 60.
The image?
45 for an image?
Yeah.
You
said
I don't know
50 or
anyone
60.
who charges 50 or yeah. I don't know anyone who charges that little.
Yeah. So normally, I mean, I'm at $100 a shot, $100 an image.
So how can you give people,
So
how can you give groups images at less than half your image price? Doesn't that make you feel like a liar? Like that your images aren't worth $100?
it does, yeah. And I also don't think 425 is enough
So
because
we're gonna go,
I've done it twice, and I'm like, oh my God, this is
let's just
that's not enough.
let's just take a second and figure out what it should be. So it should be at minimum of $100 a person, since you are giving them an image and you are giving them a session and your images are $100.
Okay,
So like pick, 500, 750 for the on location fee and $100 per image.
okay,
And get that guy on the phone and tell him your rates and talk through it and then send him an official quote and get him booked.
$100 a person.
Yeah, why are you like, you should have, like, ideally you want to, like, really ideally when he says how much for 60 people, you should be able to say, well,
Bam, bam, bam.
for 60 it'd be 6,500.
Okay,
And he could say, whoa, or yeah, let's do that. I'm like, okay, like what day works for you? Like I have
Right.
get it. You could have booked it at the lunch.
so you asked me why 45 or why less than your normal price, right?
Hmm?
Because at $100 an image, that's when you're coming into the studio and I'm spending an hour with you, 2 hours with you. You're changing outfits. We're doing whatever. I'm shooting you. I might take 60, 70, 80 pictures of you. We're going to go through them. You're probably going to pick and choose between 5 and 6, 7, 8 pictures, whatever. And it's $100 an image. But I'm taking my time with you. Now, if I go to a corporation and I set up my stuff and I'm running people through, I'm going to spend 15, 20 minutes.
How
with
much
each
is
person
it? How much is it per image if someone comes in and you take one image of them and like, that's amazing. I'm done. I don't want to shoot anymore.
$100 for the image.
Right. So it's not based on changing outfits and stuff. You can't change outfits from one picture to the same picture.
Makes sense. I like it.
Hey,
Good.
John, can I make a couple of comments here?
Make one and then I'll decide if you can make another one.
Okay. I've worked in corporate a ton, so I'm very familiar with like budgets and marketing.
It's going
When it
well
comes
so
to-
far.
Yes, so my advice to selling to the corporation, do not be price sensitive. Marketing budgets are outrageous because any marketing activity is revenue generating for these companies. So it isn't like what John said, it's not the clothing changes or the time that you're spending. That guy saw your images on your phone and he wants that outcome, right, for his employees. And that image is worth well more than $100. If it is his sales team that you're shooting, and that's a professional image that goes on their LinkedIn that elevates their image, that's revenue generating image that goes well beyond $100. That sales guy could sell $2.5 million next year. And he made a ton of connections because of your image. They're buying the product, they're not buying your time, and they're not buying clothing changes. They're buying a badass image. So start thinking like that and don't be price sensitive for corporations. Their budget is a lot better than John, the mechanic down the street.
So would you like to talk to our group next month? No, I'm just kidding. That's really good.
I was just
You-
gonna say, Austin, we're gonna be friends.
Yeah.
love
And you have another comment if you would like another comment. Go ahead.
No, I kind of threw it all in and just waited to see if you would
You
stop me,
cheated the
but that was-
system.
that
I
was it.
said make one comment and then I will tell you if you can make another comment.
You just couldn't tell I strung it all together.
I should have just stopped you after the first comment and then decide if you had a second comment. I
One
gave you
addition
warning.
thing though.
Okay.
Matt, I tried to add you on LinkedIn and you and I are actually already connected. So that must have been from my headshot days. So I don't know, but we already had that connection existing. And I've seen your work and it's better. It's way better than $50 an
Yeah,
image. So
That's silly.
forget that. Like your
Okay.
prices just went up on your price sheet tonight. Like a $50 headshot, that sounds scary to me. I don't want to go pay somebody $50 for a headshot. I'll just have my sister use her iPhone at that point. So
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
What is your session fee?
$250.
Why? Were you not listening?
I know.
Are you not
I
seeing the
know.
Facebook posts?
1-to-1,
And then
right?
listen to the sport.
I'm serious. Why haven't you switched?
I don't know. Good question. Fear.
You don't want to make bank. If next month you have not changed upped your pricing significantly and gone to 1-to-1, then I'm going to kick you out.
So should I go 250 or just 200?
I think 190, 195 is a good spot to be in, or 290, 295. 250 is okay, but I just think you don't get as much and you go over the $100 mark. Like, I don't think there's a lot of difference between 250, 290, 295. Someone just told me today he went from whatever to 140 for the session and 170 per image. But if people add those together, it's 210. And so I think you're getting, it'd be much better if it were 140, 150. That way, if they add them together, it's under, or it was 310. So it'd be much better if they do add them up, to be under the $100 mark, like $10 under instead of $10 over. And I think that's true for the session fee and the image fee too. If you're barely over $100 mark, just make it under or make it right on. You're not, $10 isn't going to help you. And it could deter someone.
So you're saying 190, 195 would be good.
Yeah. Why don't you just include that 195 per person in the group and get that job?
Okay.
I'd keep
All
it
right.
at I'd keep it at 500 for this location fee if you go to 195 per person, just so that'll be so much better than what you were going to do, and then you can see how that feels, if it's all right or you want to raise it more.
Okay.
All right, cool. Kevin, do you want to share anything with us?
Me?
I'm gonna
Win.
jump off, guys, but I'll catch y'all soon.
Get
Thanks,
that
Kevin.
quote
Thanks.
to that guy like tonight or
Tomorrow.
tomorrow morning. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah, I am working on lots and lots of proposals for teams that are coming up. And so I think there's 5 right now I'm working on. One's $50,000 worth. The other ones are like under 5 and 10,000. So that's fine. But the $50,000 is one I really would love to get. It seems way out of budget. It's really scary, but it's also like, why not? Let's go for it.
Cool. Laura.
Okay, 2 big wins. I collected $9,000 today alone, which is very fun. A few from like just finishing up previous shoots and some just for work that was done. Anyway, and then tomorrow I'm photographing the Mountain West Capital Network, which is basically the top 100 companies in Salt Lake City.
Wow.
And so I will be getting every business card or everything I can find so that later I can go on in LinkedIn and say, hey, I photographed this event, we chatted, and I'd love to help your company.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a good group of people. And
Yeah,
congratulations on a $9,000 day. Do you know how much you would earn if you did that every weekday?
I did 9,000 every weekday.
Yeah.
I've not done that math.
It's well over $1 million. It's like 3 million, I think.
Yeah. Well, my general goal every month is 20K, and I'm damn near there.
What is your goal for this month?
It was 20K until today, and
Right.
now
So
it's
what
gonna
is it?
be like,
What is it? What is it now? 30?
now it's going to be 25 because because the last 10 days of the month I'm out of town.
Okay. You can earn money while you're not shooting.
Well, yes, I will, which will probably be most of the last 20 or the last 5.
So your goal was 15 for this month.
No, my goal is 20.
Okay, but you
I'm
were
at
going to be
15 right
gone
now.
for a week. So it was still 20.
It was still 20
You got $9,000 today,
today.
and your goal went up by 5,000. Nothing has changed with your schedule.
Nope.
Right. So you just got an extra 9,000. So shouldn't your goal go up at least 9,000?
No, this was not an extra 9,000.
You're almost
is-
at 20, right?
Yeah, I'm at 14,774 and 3 cents.
So in a week and a half, you're at 20, more or less.
Well, on Saturday I leave out of town
Okay.
and I don't come back till the end of the month. So I have the last of these days this week. So anything that's booked this week is really what I'm going to make money on. And I
You
don't
have-
think it's gonna be another 10.
You have shoots when you come back? You have
I
shooting days?
think I have one.
Okay. How much can you make in a day? Well, 9,000. We know you can make 9,000 in a day.
Yeah, I mean, that one's probably gonna be a
20
$1,200 shoot.
25,000 seems a little low for a goal that's going to stretch you this month since you're at 20, but okay.
I'm at
Austin,
15.
what?
I'm at 15, not 20. I have 10 more to go
15,
to get to
15.
25.
Yeah. Okay. 25 is acceptable. Austin,
So I am kind of just building my business and figuring it out as I go. And I did a couple shoot last week, and they were not interested in prints. So that was a little frustrating because that's the focal point of my business. But the boyfriend in that couple reached out to me and said that he realized that it's his third anniversary on Saturday, and that he changed his mind and wants prints. So he sent me some images, and I'm going to get him a quote over for some prints. So I'm super excited for that. And I'm going to use that as a pilot, like a testimonial, and build that into my marketing and my story of, why he bought the prints and why that's important to their relationship, so that I can further drive that experience. So,
okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know about Megan DePiro?
I don't.
Okay. I'll type it in the chat. Look up her Facebook page. It's called Rise to the Top. She has great education around print-based photography business.
Perfect. Thank you.
I recommend if you don't have a good sense of how to make this thing work, she has a course. I think it's $1,200 or whatever. It's lays it all out there.
Okay, thank you.
Kyle, you have a win from the last month.
Well, so far, just individual bookings here and there, kind of like average out between 3 to 4 a week for the last couple of weeks. I've just started, really don't know like what's the next couple of weeks gonna be look at, but I have two group headshots kind of like on the planning. One is pretty much confirmed, but they just haven't paid the fee or yet. But they say, yeah, we're gonna do it. This is what day, and then give me all the details. So this is basically that's the last month. There's a magazine called the Morning Star from Chicago. For some reason, they found me in here. They said, we need to feature this lady. Can you go to her office? Did a headshot for her. They need a full body shot with white background. So I went there. I took the shot for her. Then they said, can you photograph our employees? I'm saying, sure. So that's how that goes. So they have 13 people. Friday, I got another phone call. So apparently it's a huge company in Canada. They're doing like electronic stuff. They have 60 people from all over the country coming to Vancouver for an event or a meeting. So they want every single one had a headshot. I already gave them a call. I talked to her on the phone as well. She's quite happy with the process. And then she checked my website, of course, otherwise she won't be able to leave me a message. So I'm gonna do a follow-up with her tomorrow.
Awesome.
Today is the Thanksgiving and in Canada. So
Okay.
well, yeah.
I didn't know you guys were thankful.
So but anyway, so trying to keep my conversation short. But yeah, so I gave her the code. I basically saying, okay, let me know if this align with your budget. I quoted her 195 per photo. For 60 people, I told her I probably shouldn't do that. I gave her a discount kind of like that. I say, you know what, I can waive the session fee if you have 60 people. So I just gotta, I really hope that one will book. Because if that one books, it's like, that will be, that's 12,000 there. But this is the biggest proposal I received ever so far. Last week I had another one. It's 13 people. They end up booked with someone else because I charged them $1,000 session fee plus the $195 per photo. I talked with a lady on the phone. I think the problem, she's not the decision maker. I think she just there collect information.
Yeah.
So basically, I think she just gave also this is so and so how much they charge, and then they probably just select people based on price. But but I really don't know what else I can do because I don't have the connection. But for all these people, I sent them a connection request on LinkedIn yesterday. One of them already accepted. So so tomorrow I'll talk with the lady.
Cool. Kevin said in the chat, I don't think that's a discount session fee. I think can be waived for larger groups. I would think of it as a discount, but it's not just like, hey, I'll take some off, it's a volume discount, which is acceptable to me, although I've gotten away from it and I'm happy I got away from it, but I wouldn't say that, oh, that was a big mistake. You should never do that. That's fine in my book. If that's the way you want to do things. David.
Probably the biggest win, probably the most exciting, was actually an unassisted booking. Very first one.
Yeah.
So it proves that, the system actually does work. So that was pretty exciting. And we did it. It was for an actress, and it was a really good event, or excuse me, really good session. Still working on more bookings and responding to people just as we get the hits to the website. A lot of misses, going to be honest, a lot of misses. Might just be them seeing the pricing and just going elsewhere. So realize, a lot of no's will finally get us to a couple of yeses.
What is your pricing?
190 and then 195 for
where are you again?
Right in northwest suburbs of Chicago. So probably about 20 miles from the city.
Maybe they're going to Garrett and paying more.
I hope
Real
so.
quick,
Hopefully someone's getting it right.
David, is your pricing on your website?
Behind the opt-in, it is.
Garrett, share with us one of your many wins.
Well, I just went to 290, 295.
Ah, there we go.
Like, I'm not getting the ball, like the people that just ball out. I still think I'm too cheap.
Yeah.
That little bit, I think, is going to deter someone already booking me. Screw it, right?
I think I have to raise my prices now, I think. Okay. What else?
Did a portfolio building session to get some specific things, and I still made money. She bought extra pictures. And then I'm just.
What about last month? What did you hit last month?
Oh, I almost hit 20. I hit 15 and change. And
Awesome.
then off to a pretty good start this month. And then up to my Google reviews over 50, thanks to delivering all of the photos from one of my big group shoots by hand instead of just handing it over to the people, and including that review link. So that's what I got going on.
Cool. Hector.
Right here.
We're doing wins.
Win for this month. Well, hashtag of the week was
Oh, wow.
and that post was actually huge because I made a post on LinkedIn. It's still getting views, 5,141. I did the mining for that, and I think I've gotten like 4 or 5 bookings already. There's a couple conversations. Someone that booked me is actually coming from DC to shoot here. There was someone else that saw that post and saw a photo of a client, and that's opening the doors to maybe shoot MasterCard that is locally. They are coming back to the office, so that's going to be huge. So like fingers crossed for that.
The good news is they can put it on their credit card.
Yeah. Good one.
That's good, Hector. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, so really looking forward to that. So that made the move to get the new Flex kit, and I'm like, yeah, time to go serious.
Okay.
And I already spoke with someone to redo my website. So
what has that done to your sales? Are sales going up generally?
They'll start going up. Like the last 2 clients that I've had, like they were ready to pull the trigger on the 12 images, and they're like, yeah, no, I came with the idea of just doing 1 photo. I'm like, okay, you're still taking 6, so that's a win for me.
Yeah, good. You set your low collection where you're happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mondo, are you there?
Hey guys,
Hey, Mondo.
what is up?
What's a win from last month?
Actually two. So I got a call in the morning on Saturday. Guy seemed kind of in a rush. He's like, "Hey, I need a headshot like today." And I go, "All right, cool. I can be there in like a half hour. You want to meet me there?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem." And I go, "Are you familiar with my pricing?" He goes, "It doesn't matter, but just tell me anyway." I go, "Okay, it's 150, 155." He's like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good." Get inside the studio, and he was expecting like a typical headshot. You're up against the wall, click, and you're out. And he started looking around my studio, seeing all the work. And he's like, "Is this how you're gonna make me look?" And I go, "Yeah." So get ready. So he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I'm, he's Serbian, and he's just having fun, and just like he's like, "I can't. You Americans, you're comedies. Like it's so funny," and I'm just like, just busting him up. And he ended up only picking up two, but he's like, "All right," because he's from World Series of Poker, which I found out. And he's like, "They're paying for it." I go, "Okay, cool. So how many do you want to take?" And I left it like that. And he's like, "Well, two, let's just take the two for right now." And he's like, "But I want to come back and do more, do some with cards and things like that." And I go, no problem at all. So he did the two, and he wanted to do a rush. And I was, "All right, that's an extra 75 each." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." He's always cash cool, cash, no problem. Boom, 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 610 out the door. And he was there for maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
And then the other one, which I posted about with that whole discount thing, came in, he only wanted one or two from the phone call, but they ended up buying six. And he only did the six because they would have tapped out his card. So he was like, "I want to do more, but this is what it is." I go, "No problem, man." So got the six. It was over 1,000. So I was happy about that.
Are you going to send him the proofs like in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told him, I go, "Listen, I'm going to keep these for the next couple of weeks just in case. And then I'll send you some proofs and let you know before I delete them."
Okay.
And he's like, okay, yeah, just let me know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Very
hopefully
good.
he picks up some more.
Jared, how's it going?
It's going all right. I don't know that I had any big wins for the month. I shot a lot of people, but it was kind of disappointing because like virtually everyone only bought one image, which was really annoying because in August I had fewer headshots, but like everyone bought 3 or 4 images, which is great. But like for some reason this month, like everyone was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get the one." So that was a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But I still made about the same amount, as much money as last month. I just had to shoot a lot more people to do it. So a little frustrating there.
Are you doing collections?
So that's, I guess, something I just finally got like a menu card printed out for that. The other thing I did with that was on the other side of it, I printed out my QR code for the Google review. So I can try, I think that's something you do is you get people to do it right there in studio.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to try doing that as well, as just put the card over and get them to scan it, and just to get my Google review velocity up.
Yeah.
Even though I've got a decent amount, I've got almost 80. But so I'm working on that. I also did the video funnel thing, which I've been still kind of just seeing how that's working and everything.
Maybe it's doing well that you're converting people who are cheap.
Well, no, I only started the video thing late in the month last month. So most of the people who I shot with didn't get through the video.
Yeah.
And what was actually kind of interesting actually was one of the people I recently shot, she saw the video, the whole thing, but she didn't book right then. She came back a day later. She self-booked, she paid full price, and she actually bought 2 images instead of 1. But and then the person who did self-book, the first person who self-booked the video, he actually came in just this past Saturday, and he bought 3 images.
Okay.
So, and he was actually the first person I showed the collection card to. So he saw 6 for $1,000 or whatever it was, and he's like, let me get 3.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
All right. Keep it up. You're working on the right things, I think. All right, Mary, quite contrary.
Hey.
Hi. Are you sick?
No, I shut my Suburban gate on my head, so I've got a bad headache. So I'm just kind of listening.
Oh no, that's fine. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It's a little bit klutzy of me.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sorry, hope you get to feel better.
Thank you.
I mean, my big win was having my third $50,000 month this year. 3 out of 9 isn't bad. And I have 3 portrait sessions booked under the 790 session fee. So I think I've booked maybe 6 people, 5 or 6 people total, since trying to put in a little more effort into building this thing, the portrait side of things, maybe 9 months ago, maybe a year ago. So I've booked 3 in the last 3 weeks. The person who booked today found me on Instagram like a year ago. I didn't know she found me. She wasn't commenting or anything. And she messaged me on Friday night, I think, or Saturday night, about, I've been following you. I like the look of your portraits, blah, blah, blah. And I'm interested in booking. So I talked to her today. She's coming in for portraits. She's doing the portraits, headshots first, then portraits. And I told her my pricing, and she's like, cool, that sounds good. I like the planning that goes into these portraits too. That's going to make them even better. I'm like, yep, okay. So 3, those have gone pretty well for me too. That's I'd say I've averaged probably $4,000 a portrait client, 4 or 5, and so that'll be good. I'm shooting all 3 of those this month. The person who booked today, it's her 40th birthday, and she's starting a podcast with her friend in Charlotte, and I've referred her to a Charlotte photographer. Another one was a 40th birthday woman whose 40th birthday just passed, and she wants to do something for that. And then the other person is, she's like, we had our senior pictures done for my daughter, and they're not that great, so we just need like some cheesy senior portraits, but better than before. I was like, why don't we do amazing portraits instead? And she's like, that sounds cool. I was like, okay. And then I pointed her to my Instagram. She's like, oh, these are so cool. I like these. And so I think all 3 are seeming like they could be good sales. So that's cool. Good to see some traction in that. All right. Oh yeah, Charlie. You snuck back in the middle, and I was planning to come back to you, but I forgot when we got to.
Yeah, thanks. West Coast dinner's ready. My wife just popped her head in.
Yeah.
I want to live.
We're wrapping, so go ahead.
So anyway, my big one is I've started shooting again after my surgery. So that's been huge the past couple of weeks. And so I still can only lift 1 pound for a while, but I've hired an assistant. Depending on the shoot, depending on what it is, it's between $300 and $500 a day. So luckily my prices are well enough that I'm still making a great profit on this stuff. So that's been good. And today I had a location session in the morning where I worked for a company, did 20 headshots in the morning, came back and then had an individual session, a CEO for a company. It's kind of like a test thing. If things go well, then I'll be doing more for him. And he loved the images, and he bought 5. So looking forward to that. So all in all, still going to be 4 or 5 months before I'm back to normal with my arm. But regardless, I'm, keep the prices up. I can pay the assistant, and I won't lose business. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just went through with Katie being not feeling well, being sick. It's like psychologically challenging for me not to earn money, even though we're fine to go a few weeks without much income.
But still,
it's just like it's so hard. Like I had sessions coming up, and I had to call them and reschedule them. One canceled because I couldn't meet her deadline, and it's like,
yeah, I
it's
had
so
a
hard,
month.
but I don't mind losing one client to take care of my family.
Right.
It's fine, but
yeah, I had a month with no clients because of this. So
Yeah.
getting back is huge. Anyway, I got to run. Great talking, everybody. See you next time.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna wrap unless anybody has any quick questions for me or Kevin.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Because I'm very new to this, like I just wondering, like, is this headshots business seasonal? Like, is there any months just like a very slow?
Pretty good year long for most of us, I think. People, around Christmas time or Thanksgiving time, it slows down or whatever for me. But it's, it's a professional thing. It's not using fall leaves or or whatever, or snow or whatever. So it's been pretty, there are ups and downs for most of us. But it's not something that really dies down all that much.
Great. Good to know.
I mean, if you're shooting in a studio, you're going to be busy all year around if you put the work in.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good talking to you. Get well soon, Mary. All right. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.